Obviously, some people have made the point that the Nets have shot 57% from the field in each of their past 3 games. And the way you're playing, more 3-point opportunities than ever in your career. Can you just describe what that's saying, and if you can sense that you're just getting a lot more openings, or they're just looking for you to shoot that shot and spread the floor?
I think it's a number of things that kind of factor into that. I think that, first off, when these guys kind of get off the ball, they're such savvy offensive players. It's usually because I have a little bit of space. So, when I know that, and I know that I have a little bit of space, the ball comes my way, it's almost instantaneous that the shot's going up. I'm not really giving it a ton of thought. There's not a lot of indecision there. Ball comes my way, I got to let it fly. And, make or miss, it's good for us because it helps, create a little bit more space for those guys maybe the next time down and the following possession after that.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Hey, Joe, I got a 2-parter for you. Obviously, you guys get Shump back this weekend. You played with him in Cleveland along with some other guys. Just where do you think he can help you guys the most? And then, in a year where there's not a lot of practice time and you guys have a lot of games and a lot of days, given his familiarity with the team and the roster, how much of an added bonus is that he might have a quicker learning curve than maybe some other guys you'd bring in?
Yeah, Shump, I obviously was with him in Cleveland, and then even last year when he played with us on the couple of 10 days that he had. And, he's just one of those guys. He's been around. He's had a lot of success. He's very reliable. You can plug him into any sort of situation. He's not gonna beat himself. He makes sound plays on the offensive end, and then defensively he can make a difference. He's very active. He's athletic. He's an excellent perimeter defender with great hands. And anybody like that, you can plug them in any sort of situation and they're going to bring you positives. And then just from, locker room standpoint too, he just provides a lot of great energy and a good voice, which I think will help us out a lot too.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Hey, Joe. The last couple of games, we've talked about playing down to your opponent potentially, and then really wanting to play up to when you're playing the Clippers, whomever it is. And James Harden said that that's really where you guys need to be focusing right now, is bringing that even sort of commitment. Going in against the Raptors, you have Fred VanVleet, who's scoring 54 points, but they're also 9th in the East. What kind of a mental test is this for you guys on how to kind of dial in there on not playing down to opponents?
Yeah, I'd say, first and foremost, regardless of who you're playing against, we want to be a championship team and we have to play, championship level basketball. So regardless of who you're playing against, that has to be the approach. And, that's for every team across the board in the NBA. And then, for our next couple of games for Toronto tomorrow, I don't think that them being 9th in the East is indicative of just how good of a team they are. They're perennially in the playoffs, NBA champions, a couple of years removed. The number of these guys, they're all on that team. I think this has been a tough year, odd year for a number of reasons for a lot of teams. And it's one of those things where it's taking time for teams to kind of weather different storms that they're dealing with, whatever it might be. And, they have a real unusual situation, having to uproot from Toronto, go and play in Tampa. So, you can't undermine and underestimate what they're having to deal with on that level. But for sure, we're not underestimating them or thinking that they're a lesser team. They're a fully capable team that is, like I mentioned, one of the top tier teams in the East, regardless of what their record might say right now.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Joe, obviously you guys had, 17 games in 31 days in January, and that's the most in the NBA. So to have 2 days off consecutively, what are some things that you can do on the court and off the court that you just weren't able to do with just 1 day off in between games before?
Yeah, this has been the biggest thing, I think, for us, just because, it's been a battle just trying to recover for these games and how difficult it is just to turn around. It's a little bit different than being in the bubble where, your recovery was instant. You'd finish up the game, you're in a controlled environment, you're starting whatever your recovery is, you're getting, the right amount of sleep. And, here, we're doing the same thing, but we're traveling on top of it. And it's hard to do the same thing when you're hopping on a plane after you play in Memphis and turning around and playing the next night. It's just not the same. And it's really difficult to get your recovery. And so these 2 days have been huge from that standpoint, just to allow guys to, really take care of their bodies, and, have consecutive days doing it versus just one and turning around and hitting the ground running again. And then from a preparation standpoint, it's good just being able to have practice time too, where we're all able to be together. And even though we're going, super hard on the court, it's a lot of film, a lot of breakdown, a lot of mental reps, which are just as valuable at this stage in the game and what we need.
Is there also a non-basketball component to it too? Like you have more personal time to kind of just refocus or maybe spend with family that you don't have when you only have one day off?
Yeah, 100%. I think, it's like anything. The better that you feel, the better place you are from a mental standpoint, the more productive and quality your work is probably going to be. So, I think for all of us, just being able to be at home, not traveling, and have a couple of consecutive days where, you feel good about the recovery, the practice reps, and then just being able to kind of stay at home and be with, your loved ones or whoever it might be is, an added benefit in there for sure.
Tom Dowd with BrooklynNets.com.
Hey, Joe, just following up on Greg's original question a little bit. You're playing a segment of minutes with the starters and then another segment with James and some second unit guys. So it adds up to a lot of minutes playing out there with James Harden. How has that kind of opened some things up for you from 3-point range, and how's it been just kind of getting in a rhythm with him and getting used to how he plays?
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I said, just playing with somebody that's that good offensively. James is an elite level scorer. He's an elite level playmaker, elite level passer. So, he's putting guys in all the right places. And a lot of that he does just by the way that he plays. He commands so much attention. He takes or makes, the right basketball plays too. If people are collapsing on him, if he sees there's a momentary lapse from a guy defensively, he exploits it, takes advantage of it. And, it benefits all the guys that are on the court with him.